our businesses post-COVID? How do we ensure that COVID does not determine or define what our businesses will become, but we will find ways to survive it and go on to succeed? So as you see there on your screen, starting 2nd of June, we are going to have restarting your business after COVID-19. That's the reboot. And then on the 9th, we are dedicating that day to e-commerce. A lot of businesses have had to move online now because people are finding it more convenient to shop from home. So how do you transform your business to take advantage of the online space? How do you reach customers? It doesn't happen overnight. You have to actually zone in and find your target market in the crowded space of online world. And of course, we also have
the Agribusiness Forum, how to create another career in agribusiness, and this is really directed at those people who are doing something already, but really, want something extra or something more, to add another different stream of income to add to their business. I think it's a very important area for us to focus on, and to make sure that we multiply our streams of income and rather economically we get better, and we don't deplete our resources as time goes on and so on. So, and then of course there's the Import-Export Forum, Trade Forum, and will export-import ever be the same again? So that will be the last week of June. We'll have that conversation. Now, each of them will be on City TV between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. every Tuesday of the month of June, from the 2nd all the way to the 23rd.
Definitely. So if you're home and you would want to engage some of the panel, the best way to do that is to join us via Zoom so that you can ask them the questions that are uniquely tailored to solving some of the problems you're experiencing in your business. So you want to register now, especially if you want to be part of the reboot, if you want to be part of the e-commerce, if you want to be part of the Agric Forum or the Trade Forum. If you want to be part of all of them, you can do that as well. But you do have to register with us, and it is absolutely free. So call us at 0205-973-973, and we'll put you down and make sure that you are ready to join us via Zoom.
Yeah, we do have another number as well. It's 0558-973-973. And it's important for you to register to participate, because sometimes you're watching. It's a one-way. TV is a one-way experience, but with the Zoom facility, as we join us, it allows us to have the two-way conversation where you can be a part of what is going on. You can be part of what is going on the entire time. There'll be times for asking questions and so on. Yeah, time for asking questions and all of that, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, we've been doing the City Business Festival for almost 15 years now, and every single year we focus on ensuring that you get all the resources you need to grow your business. And we've been working on Agric for a while now. A lot of businesses are figuring out how to take full advantage of the e-commerce space, and there are businesses now that have to relook at things the way they used to do things, to reboot, to see exactly how they can take advantage of these times and also go on to survive post-COVID. So the entire month of June is dedicated to growing your business.
Absolutely.
And it's important that you register on time so that you can join us and engage us as we help you find new ways to grow your business. The number again is 0205-973-973
and 0558-973-973. Now, this morning we have been joined by one of our partners for the City, in fact, our main partner for the City Business Festival, ABSA Ghana, and we're here with them. And also our CEO, Semens, has joined us as well, together with Nana Isifwa Boyson, and she's going to help us to understand and give us a broad view of what's going to happen during the City Business Festival. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Jifa.
Thank you so much for being with us.
David.
Good morning.
So, Nana, I'll start with you. Tell us a bit about ABSA and why you decided to partner with us for this festival.
First and foremost, we're very excited to be a partner, actually the main partner for this year's City Business Festival. We've actually done quite a lot of engagements with City over the years, and this is the first time we are coming on board this program, and we are very excited. The decision why we are, making ourselves available to be part of this program is because, number one, this program resonates with our brand promise, of helping people find a way to get things done. And then also the platform that this City Business Festival offers us is a good one to enable us bring on board, our in-house expertise and the capabilities that we have within the business, to the benefit of the business community and Ghana as a whole. And then, not the final but not the least of it, is also the fact that as a new brand, we are very excited to engage in such strategic partnerships, and going forward we'll be doing more of such to avail our expertise, to the business communities, which include our customers, as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, sometimes we've been doing the Business Festival for a while now. We usually have off-air activities as well as on-air activities. How's this year's festival different?
Thank you. This is the 15th year of doing the City Business Festival. And for us, we are in the business of informing people, inspiring people. And so whatever we do, it ends up empowering people. And that's in sync with what ABSA stands for, as Silfo has said. We would normally have events at specific venues, mostly the hotels, but this year, because of our situation, we've had to change. It's unfortunate, but it also offers us new opportunities. Yesterday, a friend called me from Abuja, who said that, but I just saw this flyer, your festival, something, how can we join? So that gave me an idea that this thing really can go beyond borders. And that's an interesting aspect. So then I had the idea that let's channel our distribution, virtual distribution, to other countries, So yes, you don't have people, in one location, but you have eyeballs spread across, the country, the sub-region, because of course ABSA is a continental brand. Now we have Zoom connections for most of the meetings that we are going to have, the fora that we are going to have, which will be live on television. And so in ordinary times, you probably could have 100 to 200 people in one hotel. What this means is that it opens it up to a higher number of views. Now we can view on television, that's on CCTV, we can view on our Facebook channels, and then people can also connect using Zoom, and that's why we ask people to register, and the registration is free registration, and that's so that you can have access through Zoom and interact with the speakers.
Right. And can you help us to understand the key attributes of the ABSA brand and how, therefore, this becomes a huge part of the City Business Festival?
Oh, good. We've just launched an exciting new brand. It's unfortunate that as we were, yelling and shouting about it, COVID happened. But hey, we are where we are. And our attributes, let me just sum them up, with the maybe top ones. Our brand promise is to help people, to find a way to get things done. And when I speak about helping people to find a way to get things done, just think about the ordinary African and the ingenuity of the Ghanaian who, through the hustle and bustle, still pushes through, to get things done.
Yeah.
Now, that is the sort of attitude that inspires us as a brand. And then also we try to connect as a brand. We connect the dreams of individuals and businesses, you know, with financial resources, services, and opportunities, so that we can help them realize, you know, these dreams of theirs. And when we do that, one of our big attributes is to be an impact in society and be a force for good. And we do that through so many other supports that we give to our business. One typical example of a flagship program that we run under our Force for Good agenda, perhaps if I may just share, is the Ready to Work program, which is a proprietary, you know, program of APSA that helps, you know, to build the soft skills of students who are transitioning out of the university into the world of work, you know, to afford them that opportunity to be more competitive, you know, when they go out to work. So we, you know, we engage in a lot of these supporting activities. Communities, and with our business community, we support them with our SME clinics, you know, which avails them of the opportunity to understand business insights, information, and the tools that they can use. And especially during these times, it's even more important than ever as businesses rebuild, they recover, they rebuild, and then they try to grow.
What's the thing that, and there are people who are watching right now, they're sitting on the fence and, you know, say, okay, I'm busy, I have, you know, things to do and so on, but it sounds interesting. Why should they be a part? What can we hook them with?
Oh, this year, I'm personally very excited, and I'm hoping our audience would also be, because I've seen the lineup of the topics, and then also the seasoned speakers who are going to, you know, handle these topics. And especially during the times that we are in now, it is very, I think, apt at this time for the opportunity that this platform offers, you know, the business communities to learn of the different tools that can help them, you know, recover. Aside the fact that, you know, I've seen a good lineup of seasoned speakers and the topics in themselves are very relevant at this time.
Yeah.
We have, I think, business continuity planning in that lineup, and we have Grace Enim Yaboa, who is our business banking director, who will be handling this topic very well. And then during these times, we all know that where businesses are now having to look at alternative ways to do business, and so technology is at the forefront of this now. And our Chief Enablement Lead, Ebo Richardson, is handling, if I believe the topic is the technology, you know, and for business continuity. And then also, probably Jifa, you may not know, or David, the APSA is a lead in agri-financing. And I'm very excited to see that you have that, you know,
yes, it's a big part of what we're doing.
In the lineup. And we finance the soya, maize, and rice value chain. And we have the specialist, Mr. William Nete, who will be on board. And you know, before the COVID hit, AFTAC was a buzzword. And now when you look at what has happened, it's even now more pertinent for us to look at the opportunities that the trade within Africa offers all of us. And that is also in the lineup. And Mrs. Eleanor Hinafuakwa, who is our corporate banking director, will be handling that topic. And I do believe there's also very seasoned speakers who will be, you know, handling other topics, you know, during the other days in the week, and also the TV panel discussions that are coming up. So, you know, the audience, you know, have got an array, you know, of tools that, you know, they can pick up from and help their businesses recover during this time.
Thank you very much. Samas, do you mind walking us through the other speakers and the themes that we'll be looking at?
I'll deal with the themes. You know, she's spoken about them, but in terms of, we have the digital team, which is, you know, the first one, and it involves things like how to plow through the e-commerce ecosystem, and then we have the real entrepreneurship area, what we call reboot, how to restart your business after it's been affected by COVID-19. Most businesses have seen what COVID-19 can do to us, and there are some who know exactly what to do to come out of it. There are others who have no clue what to do. There are others who will need to hear some of these speakers in order to inspire them to get to the next levels. Some will collapse, and that's nature. Some businesses are going to collapse, but you have a decision to make whether you should empower yourself to make progress or to sit down, do nothing, and collapse. And that's why we are putting this together. And I'm particularly excited about the Agribusiness Forum again. It's something that we are very passionate about here. Last year we did the agribusiness. In fact, we did about 3 separate fora on agribusiness and made in Ghana food. We also spearheaded the Ghana Rice campaign,
Yes.
which also did well.
Yeah.
But for this year, what we have done as a company is that we've gone ahead and secured for ourselves 40 acres of land, and we have just finished the plowing and ready for planting.
Wow.
That's interesting.
So great news.
Yes, we initially were eyeing 100-acre land in the Akuse area, but
Wow.
that didn't happen. So we finally got something in the Koforidua Amanfi Road. It was about 40 acres, which we are working. So we don't just want to tell the story, but we also want to
Practically
experience
live it, yeah.
in practice. So another 3 months we'll be here to talk about what we've done.
Sounds exciting.
So the Agribusiness Forum is also very important. And I see that as important because, you see, every Ghanaian comes from a village somewhere. And you don't need an application letter to become a farmer.
Yeah.
All you need is land. So if you lock yourself into this forum, you can get 1 or 2 lines of information that will empower you to start something.
Yeah.
I mean, look, nobody is secured in their jobs today because of COVID. You can't be 100% sure. Today everything is fine. Tomorrow you wake up and you have a letter, go home. You may be asked to go home. You may be stopped from going to work, but nobody can stop you from farming. And that's why we think that this agribusiness should be taken more seriously. And that's why we are doing it. So it's also happening again, the Agribusiness Forum happening. And then we have another conversation on the import and export business. Look at COVID. Borders closed. What happens? Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. Some people are able to do it because, of course, cargo transport
Yes.
is still happening. But you can get your cargo transport. Where is the distribution? And because of COVID, there have been new restrictions and all that. So we want to bring the platform for this conversation. So we have the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. We have the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. They are all part of this conversation.
GIPC.
And of course, APSATU will be here to be part of this
Yeah.
conversation.
If you can touch briefly also on the on-air series, which is going to be happening on radio as well at the same time.
Well, the theme is the same
Yes.
for on-air radio and on-air television. The topics vary a bit, so you can do both radio
And
every morning, and then because
TV
the
as well.
TV series happen from 11 to 1,
1,
11 a.m.
yeah.
to 1 p.m. Yes.
Okay, so Nana, you've touched on a bit of this, but more specifically, what are the services you have for SMEs, agribusinesses, businesses looking to scale throughout the continent and across the world, as well as people in the e-commerce space?
All right, we have an array of products and services to support our customers, and especially for the SME, they are very dear to our heart. And my colleague, Mrs. Grace Enimiabua, is one passionate leader in this space. But we support, the SMEs with financing.
Okay.
So we have project financing, we have trade financing, we have flexible, payment solutions that help them. We have collections, for them. So, and we have other business supporting activities. I spoke about the SME, clinics, which brings together, very key and seasoned, subject matter experts to help them structure their businesses for growth.
Okay.
And then we have also started a Business Connect series, which shares also these business insights, to help SME businesses and other, businesses that may want to take advantage of that. So we have platforms integrator, for bulk payment and bulk cash disbursement. So we have an array of products that support them, apart from the vanilla products of, savings, and current account, opening. And so we have an array of products that supports our SME business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to quickly ask you about impact. So what are you hoping that by the time we're done with City Business Festival, the impact of this festival on like a chain reaction? What are you hoping and expecting?
I was telling you earlier that we launched our new and exciting brand in February, and we're really on the high. And COVID happened, but we have not been daunted at all. And so the opportunity this City Business platform gives us, is immense. We are going to make available, expertise and capabilities that resides within the Absa business, and this has been built over 100-year heritage. We are going to make this available, to the public, the business community, to the benefit of all businesses that actually require this sort of, intervention, at this time.
Yeah.
And then also, we are open for such strategic partnerships. So we want to make available to the business community availability, to help businesses grow during this time. And then a phenomenon that has also happened as a direct outcome of the COVID. We have seen the emergence of local businesses, just springing up, trying to also take advantage of the current situation that we have. And we are very, very open as ABSA to support such businesses. It will interest you to know that at the end of Q1, we are the largest contributor of direct funding to businesses and individuals at the end of Q1, the second largest, contributor of direct funding to. So we are open, for business and to partner some of these startups that are coming, to grow.
Thank you very much. Now, so let's summarize it all for us.
Well,
what
the good
should
thing
we
is,
expect and how important it is for entrepreneurs to take advantage of some of these services, especially now?
The good thing is that ABSA coming on board, they are not coming on as motivational speakers who tell you everything about how to do. Meanwhile, they themselves haven't done anything before. They are telling us based on 100 years of experience, everything put together, competences, expertise, skills, knowledge, everything put together, passing on. And the other good thing is that even long after Business Festival is done, you can still engage with ABSA to share some of their experiences. And that's why you need to connect to ABSA on this occasion. So we are happy to be collaborating with them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We want to say a big thank you to Samuel Atta-Mensah, who is the CEO of City FM and City TV, and also to Nana Isifwa Boyson, who is the marketing and
June 2020, and it's going to go on. We're going to start with Reboot. That is for people looking to restart their businesses to thrive post-COVID. E-commerce forum. There are a lot of people in the online space right now taking advantage of the opportunities within that space, especially now that people are not moving about as much. Agribusiness forum will be next, and then finally Trade Forum. How do you take advantage of the opportunities across the continent and across the globe to grow your business? We want it to be very interactive. So if you want to join us via Zoom, you have to register by calling the number 0205-973-973 as well as 0558 973-973 to get on board, register, and engage some of our highly experienced panel on how to scale your business in this COVID season.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have a very exciting conversation coming up.
Today is Menstrual Hygiene Day, so it's really, really important that we talk about menstruation. There's a lot of stigma attached to it. There's a lot of shame. There's nothing wrong with a woman saying, I'm on my period, and especially when it comes to these parts of town, a lot of young girls don't have access to, clean sanitary pads. So how do we do that? Even disabled girls, it's even worse for them to do something as simple as communicate to their caregivers that I'm experiencing this. Where do I go from here? So we have two powerful women who are going to help us understand the complexities of dealing with menstruation in Ghana, both from the perspective of low-income neighborhoods as well as our disabled sisters.
Fantastic. I want to hear the issue of taxation and all of that on those things. So we've got to deal with it. Anyway, my name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifa Ekia Ametam. Don't go anywhere. That exciting conversation is next.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Businesses are evolving with the changing times, and the City Business Festival is doing the same. In the month of June, City Business Festival goes digital. City TV, in collaboration with Absa Bank, will give SMEs the opportunity to reboot their businesses with expert forums, discussion platforms, and interactive Zoom sessions. There will be a lesson for every business. Gain insight into the e-commerce ecosystem, understand the tools and applications that are redefining work, and get a head start into the export market and agribusiness. Revamp your business and work environment this June with City TV. The City Business Festival starts on the 1st of June 2020. The City Business Festival is sponsored by Absa Bank and supported by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. On Footprints this weekend, an accomplished academic, businessman and politician, Dr. Kwame Amoako-Tufor continues his story.
They took me to another room. Where was this muscle man with the cane ready? Got me 12 canes. Then I told myself I won't yield. So I kept my teeth together. Pow, pow. I mean, heavy canes.
Lecturer at KNUST.
Lecturer, very popular lecturer, based in KNUST, being whipped by a soldier who did
He didn't even know what.
What the heck was? We 12 or no? Say, your people come here, we lash them, they cry, you don't cry. Now standing. Ladies, don't look. He took the cane and whipped me here in front. Then I shouted, "Aye!" I say, I never can.
So Liman becomes president. Now, what do you make of Hilal Liman?
He was a quiet somebody who shouldn't have been president. Nana Addo attracted lots of Edumwa Bosman also came. Besides the people in his chambers, Yoti Prempeh, Dr. Prempeh, Amwaku Glover, I think he's gone now. Chachu, were all assembling around him. And then on the other side was Joe Randolph.
The Attorney General himself.
Attorney General himself, he will stand up and defiantly look at me. He will look down and
Thank you.
at me. I didn't know much about law and their legal things and how they display. But Nana said, okay, may I talk, you know?
Join us on Footprints this Saturday with Samuel Atta-Mensah as one of Ghana's celebrated academics, Dr. Mwako Tufo, takes us through his story. Footprints shows this Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. on City TV. City TV, it's your world.
Footprints is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, I mentioned earlier that today is World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we're going to talk about how to ensure that every girl in this country will have access to sanitary pads, how to ensure there's no shame attached to going through something that is very normal, and how to properly serve our sisters in the disabled communities to ensure that they also have a great experience throughout their menstrual cycle. I have been joined by Mrs. Cecilia Seno. She's the Executive Director of Hope for Future Generations, as well as a board member of the National Population Council, Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I've also been joined by Safia Abdallah Rabo. She is the Executive Director for Zongo Girls for Education, Ghana. Good morning, Safia. Good morning. How are you? Thank you so much for being with us. I'm excited to have women on the panel where we talk about women-related conversations. Now, it's an interactive show, so we want to hear from you. Wherever you're watching us from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear from you, as well as the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233 and we will get your messages. Now, I'll start with you, Mrs. Cecilia. Can you tell us a bit about menstrual hygiene? When we talk about menstrual hygiene, what exactly are we saying?
Menstrual hygiene is a natural process. Menstruation is natural and is part of development of women. And many people start menstruation at the age of 10. And so menstrual hygiene, when you add hygiene to menstruation, that means how you take care of yourself, your health, cleanliness, the material you use, everything that will keep you healthy during menstruation. And so basically menstrual hygiene is keeping yourself clean, neat, psychologically, physically during menstruation. Okay. Psychologically because of so many things that is clouded with menstruation. And so
get into our context, what are some challenges that young girls face when they are going through this period?
Okay, I think basically we can categorize the challenges under three main focus. We look at menstrual products, because when you're menstruating, you should have products you use ranging from pads. Some people use menstrual cups so as to contain the blood so that it doesn't soil your body and all that. And you also have access to water and adequate sanitation. That is mostly in less developed countries. infrastructures and facilities are not adequately enough for girls, so as it will provide them with their privacy and then confidence to maybe change when they are menstruating and other things, and also have adequate water. Because when you're menstruating, aside using the product, you have to also wash down frequently so that you don't end up getting some odor or infections. Yes, basically. So, and then there's also lack of education. Yes, so because of that, most girls will actually absent themselves from schools and even from work because of lack of education and adequate information about menstrual hygiene and its management. So basically, those are the main issues surrounding the difficulties most girls face when they are menstruating.
Let's look at the education bit, because there are we've made a lot of progress as a country as far as free education. But what are the challenges that sometimes prevent girls from taking advantage of that education, especially when they are menstruating? Okay, so comparing males and females per se, females by our nature and vulnerability, we are not even well-resourced when it comes to maybe getting information from technology and other stuff. The males are at a better place than females. And most of this information of late is technologically inclined. So looking at it from that angle, most females are not positioned well to receive the information. And again, when you look at some of the chores and then difficulties females go through, growing up, they are also not well positioned to get the right education and stuff. So those who are not in school per se, if you are in school, you are better positioned. So maybe will be part of the curriculum and then you'll be taught. But if you are not privileged enough to be in that group, then getting the right information becomes a problem, because there are a lot of barriers that prevent you from getting the information, and also not just getting the information, getting it at the right time, and how to utilize the information too is very necessary. So those are some of the issues. Okay, Mrs. Cecilia, please walk us through how far we've come with our battle with ensuring every single girl in this country has access to sanitary pads.
Thank you. It's rather unfortunate. I remember in 2015, there was a lot of advocacy for government of Ghana to produce sanitary pad for girls in school. And many of us were part of the advocacy, pushing for it, because that time my organization was partnering Sanita group of companies to promote sanitary pads in schools. But we were thinking that is something that the government will embrace, like all other countries, Kenya, South Africa. I think there is that practice in East Africa. But in Ghana, what I realize is small pockets of people, mostly NGOs, UNICEF, UNFPA, they are doing something. But to have access to sanitary bag by school, young girls in school, it is never established by government. The best would have been the government embraces as part of the Ghana Education Service policy to ensure that every girl have access. When you come to school and you have menstruation, you just go to the maybe the school health nurse or the school health teacher and request that I need it. And the challenge is girls find it difficult to talk about menstruation to male teachers. And so it should have been a teacher, a female teacher, who will understand the girl and ensure that they have access to it. But currently, I don't think we have that kind of thing in this country. And it is a big challenge which is contributing to high school absenteeism for girls when they are in their menstruation. I was reading a document yesterday by UNICEF that is saying that 95% of girls sometimes miss school due to menstrual hygiene, lack of the girls-friendly facilities, which includes even the sanitary pads. And so Ghana hasn't got anything established for girls in school, and I'm not aware of it. I don't know if it's aware of it, but I don't know if there is something like that.
But how does all this hinder the development of the girl child? Because you go into an average public classroom, the teacher will tell you the girls are not confident. You grow closer to the girls and they tell you that I'm wearing the same pad from morning. So I'm not even paying attention to what the teacher is saying because I'm ashamed that if I get up, I'll soil myself, my colleagues will laugh at me. This thing under my panties is so uncomfortable, over my panties is so uncomfortable that I can't even concentrate in a classroom. And these are challenges girls in other parts of the world don't have to worry about. They just go to the school clinic, go to the nurse, they get the pads, they get to do all these things. How are our girls expected to be globally competitive when they can't even access something as basic as a sanitary pad?
Yeah, so this is a big barrier, a big challenge to girls' development in Ghana. For example, if you are teasing me for menstruation or swelling my dress, which is natural, it is a problem. So, one, the confidence level of the girl, will be low. I mean, even trust, fear of the unknown, teasing. You know how boys tease you in school. And so it doesn't build them up because of that, if I'm menstruating, it's better I stay home. I don't come to school to face all these challenges. And I was also reading from the same fact sheets by UNICEF that if in some regions in Ghana, like North Dine, in the Volta region and those places, it is believed that if a girl is menstruating, you don't touch anything, you don't even get near food, you don't touch cooking utensils, and so many things, and you must be quiet, you must be reserved. And I just said, what kind of life is this? Is it a crime to become a woman or to be a girl? And so with all this, it affects their developmental stages and then affect their education. And also their confidence level is very low when it can. You are going to face this every month in your life until you grow to adulthood. So I think it's something that the government should start looking at seriously, especially the Ghana Education Service and Ministry of Education, because we must see this as a priority. Girls at their level now, they need this right. And I believe that menstrual hygiene practices and access to facilities and everything is a right. And so if you don't give it to these girls, then we are really, really abusing their rights. It cannot be done by civil society. It cannot be done by development partners. It is the government that has to take this bold step and say, it is enough. We are going to take care of girls' menstrual hygiene from now on, and we are allocating resources to the sanitary pads for girls in schools. And I think this is what we should be advocating for.
Thank you. Now, Safia, you work with young girls in the Zongo communities. What are some of the stories they've shared with you and experiences you've had, observing the challenges they've gone through because they don't have access to sanitary pads?
Okay, so before I come back to that question, in addition to what Mrs. Cecilia was saying, even aside girls, even women, I read a document about the state in Bangladesh where some women actually take contraceptives so as to prevent themselves from menstruating. Yes, because when they go to work, the conditions around is not favorable for them to change their pads and other things. So they prefer to not even go through that hassle when they would have to go to work, maybe at home. But because they have to report, then they would have to just disrupt their hormonal changes and not menstruate at all. So it's issues about girls, women in general. Everybody is inclusive. So it's something we have to really look at, like you said, and then provide the necessary destiny for the girls. So coming back to the young girl in the Zongo community, when you look at the Zongo community already, it's a vulnerable population, and then something that a girl elsewhere will be able to provide for herself, it becomes very challenging when you are coming from a Zongo community. We have engaged a number of schools, and because of COVID, it's becoming very devastating. The impact is very serious, because now most NGOs used to work with schools. So you go to schools and then give them sanitary pads and distribute it, but now it's not happening, because all those these things has been disrupted. So most of the girls share stories that sometimes you're at the point of crying, because even getting their fees and then those little monies to come to school is a problem. Then you have to channel some of these resources to buying sanitary products. So it's a huge problem, and it's very devastating. So like she said, I think the government has to take it on. So for the start, if it cannot be on a larger population, on a larger scale, but there should be some selected hotspots areas that I think they should be given the freedom to get sanitary pads in their schools, at their sick bays. There should be teachers who will be allocated to that specifically, so that when a lady is going through that during school period, she can go to her, talk to her, get the sanitary towel, change, and then continue to feel confident in her skin and then not be stigmatized at all. So basically, those are the challenges. Girls are really struggling when it comes to, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, it's expensive. Even for us, the elderly, sometimes getting it, you're kind of, okay, you have to buy it in bulk so that you don't have to be buying it small, yes. So for a little girl who is trying to get her education, has to be spending, is it 5 cedi or 6 cedis every month to be buying a sanitary pad. And some people have heavy flow.
Yeah.
So even one pack is not enough. They would have to use like 2, which is like 10 cedi, 12 cedi. Then how do they also get to feed and also buy these products? So I think the government has to look at it, and then stakeholders and other NGOs can come together to see how best these issues can be tackled, especially with the girls, the adolescents. For the women, we will take care of ourselves from that level.
Thank you, Madam Cecilia. Let's talk about the financial burden on the homes, right? Because in most low-income areas, this is a luxury that they simply cannot afford. Your average sanitary pad is about 5 to 8 cedis, and your girl will probably need two in a month. What are some of the constraints this might place on families to say, young girl, stay home for a week, we can't afford to buy you a pad? And how can doing something as basic as making these things readily available help transform the economic status of girls in low-income communities?
Yeah. You know, many countries are exploring reusable sanitary pads and also looking at making their own sanitary pad. A lot of international organizations are teaching girls how to prepare their own sanitary pad. These are things that we should start exploring. For example, a low-income home where mother and father have to wake up and do papa before they eat, and getting 10 cedis or 20 cedis for the girl a day is difficult. They will prefer the girl to stay home so that they rather use that money to buy food. And so, especially if you have more than one girl, maybe 2, 3 girls, and all of them are menstruating every month, it is difficult to sustain. And they will not put any priority to this. They might really even tell you that go and take this rag or something, or graphic, you know. It's so interesting to hear that the program that Hope for Future Generation is doing. We got to know that some of the girls use graphic
for their period.
I'm telling you.
And this is, I mean, it won't absorb anything.
It won't absorb. So they use paper, they use everything that they get because the flow is coming. You cannot go and the blood will be, so whatever they see, they put it to protect. That is from very poor communities, even in Accra.
We won't even get into the health implications of that.
And so you see what poverty can do. And I also, as Tafia said, I think it is also awareness and education to even the parents. Many people thought that if you are a girl, you are just born, you grow, you marry, that, and they don't know that you have to go through certain stages where you need resources to achieve your potential.
So the mothers don't know this?
The mother, no, there are mothers who have never been to school. They know that in your menses you have to put on something. You know, so they think that how many of them use pad? That is the question. If a mother has never used pad, how can I teach the girl to use pad? And this is where we have to start thinking. We should, you see, if the mother is not well and she's not aware, definitely the child will not aware, will not be. And if it gets to school, maybe they tell you in school, you come back, you realize that it's not possible because you don't have money. And this is where many of the girls will turn to their boyfriends or somebody, give me money to buy pad. And if I tell my boyfriend, give me money to buy pad, I have really lowered myself. And you see, so they end up using different things to do their. It's so sad. It's very, very, anytime I go back and read those stories, I think we must all come together and call on the government to start looking at this. It is very low something, if you look at the resources we have as a country, to invest in girls' menstrual hygiene, I think it will bring us far.
Thank you very much.
Thank
This
you.
is still Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Today is World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and in as much as we've made a lot of progress as a country in so many areas, there are girls in this country who can't go to school because they don't have access to sanitary pads. There are girls in this country who are using newspapers as sanitary pads because they simply cannot afford it. Now, how are we supposed to grow the next generation of powerful women in this country when we can't provide sanitary pads for our young girls? If you want to join the conversation, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and our WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. So, Safia, how do we start with the mothers? Because some mothers even feel uncomfortable talking about menstruation with their daughters. So a lot of young girls have to rely on their friends to educate themselves on what they are supposed to do.
Yeah. So in addition to that, there's even instances where family members have exploited young girls just because they find it comfortable to discuss their menstrual health issues with them rather than their direct parents. Yes, uncles and distant relatives actually end up raping and sleeping with these young girls for financial gains, to buy sanitary pads, and then just because they want to share with them the psychological and then the trauma they go through when the menses come. Especially those who have cramps, you know, it can be so painful.
Yeah.
Yes, so because you don't have the adequate information about how to handle all these, you resort to maybe an uncle or something, and then he takes advantage of you because of your situation. So I think with the mothers, the education has to come, like Mrs. Cecilia said, there should be family health incorporated in this whole thing, so that it wouldn't only be about the girls, because the girls come from home. And if no matter the education you give to her, she goes back home and then the conditions, and then the mother is not adequately informed to keep on reminding her, have you done this? You know, you're in your period, you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Then it's a cost-90 work for all of us. So I think there should be measures put in place. There should be investment in research as well, so that we can focus on improving the health and well-being of these girls. Believe you me, there's also a link between menstrual hygiene management and the SDGs, which sometimes it hasn't been well looked at because it's not directly linked. That's how people see. But
please make the connection.
Yes, because when you look at the menstrual hygiene of a girl, it's about her health and her well-being. Because if she uses paper, then she has reproductive health issues. Then health and well-being for all, at all ages. It hasn't been well realized, which is the SDG Goal 3. Then we also look at education and inclusive continuous learning for everybody, especially girls. But now she's menstruating, she's absenting herself from school. It's continuous for a time, and over time she doesn't even see the relevance to continue her education. She becomes a dropout, or because she doesn't have the adequate information, she doesn't even know that this is what I'm supposed to do when I'm ovulating, and after ovulation my period will come, teenage pregnancy sets in, and her education is disrupted. And there's also the need for everyone to have adequate resources and sanitation facilities. When she's menstruating, after removing the pad, where does she dispose it of? Her school environment, has it been well structured such that there are facilities for you to adequately dispose of your sanitary towels without shame and with confidence? Is it there? And even at the workplace, have we put in place facilities so that maybe female nurses at work, do they have facilities that will enable them change comfortably, watch down when there's the need to? Maybe when a nurse or something saws herself at work, does she have the resources to kind of quickly go and change without having to feel ashamed or embarrassed that I've soiled my uniform and then I have to quickly leave work, which also leads to less productivity at work and all that. So there is a link. So if we want to achieve the SDGs by 2030, like we've been putting much focus in other aspects, directly, women are always menstruating at the end of every month. A woman cannot be put differently from menstruation. It comes with us. So if we want to talk about issues of women and girls, then we have to take the issue of menstruation seriously as well, so as to attain all the other variables we want to achieve.
Thank you very much, Safia. Mrs. Cecilia, let's talk about the mothers, because sometimes the mothers themselves have been doing the wrong thing all their lives. So they don't know any different. That's what they will pass on to the girl. They can come to school, they can meet with you guys, you can tell them one thing, but if you go home and your mom says, this is what I've been doing, so stick a cloth there all day long, that's what you need to do. Where do we reach these mothers?
Yeah, I know NCC has a big role. The government institutions educating the citizen must really take some of this as part of their responsibility, because they can go far and they have all the resources to do that. And so educating the mothers, we can also target the churches.
Yes.
Because every church has more women and mosques have a lot of women. And so we have to strengthen our partnership with the faith-based organizations, the churches, and speak the local language, because that is, you see, the low-hanging fruit. The churches are there. Everybody go to church, if not twice a week, once a week. And so we should really look at strengthening partnership with the churches and the mosque, educate the women, because we listen to our church leaders. If Reverend Dr. or Bishop Duncan William mounts the podium and start talking about menstrual hygiene, how to take care of yourself, I think every woman in that church will listen. If the Catholic Bishop of Ghana, my bishop, talked about in Accra, the Archbishop talked about menstrual hygiene, take care of yourself and all this, it will work. And so talking about it, the mothers have to be targeted, because if our mothers are our role model, whatever my mother tells me is what I do. And so we should really reach out to the mothers. And for me, as a development worker, the easiest way to reach mothers is using our churches and then our mosque.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll go for a quick break. This is still Breakfast Daily on City TV. Today's World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we're talking about how to ensure that your period is not something that will prevent our young girls from achieving their goals and going on to become great women. There are still girls in this country who don't have access to sanitary to the conversation. Let us know the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. We'll be right back.
It's here, the ExpressPay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. ExpressPay, payment simplified.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Today's World Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we've been talking about how to ensure that our young girls and women in this country have access to sanitary pads, that your period isn't something that you are ashamed of, that, you know, women and girls will not have to feel so bad and have a lack of confidence because they are struggling with feeling uncomfortable because they have papers you know, holding them up as pads because they cannot afford sanitary pad. On an average, your average young girl will spend about 6 to 12 cedis a month to buy sanitary pads, and that's a luxury that most families simply cannot afford. But the girl should not be able to, you know, should not be able to achieve her dreams because she can't afford sanitary pads. The show. Kamal says, good morning to my sister Safia. This great woman is doing a lot in our Zongo community, and it is time we started celebrating her to the max. She is really transforming the Zongo. Good morning, CCTV. Aside the education, the government and helpers should come together and provide a brand of sanitary pad which is not for sale to be distributed in schools and communities, hospitals for the poor and needy. It has to be advertised that it is free, so anyone who sells it will be arrested. This is coming from Maggie from Taifa, and I think that's a really great contribution there, because there's absolutely no reason why, you know, corporate Ghana and other institutions can say, as part of our corporate social responsibilities, we are providing this absolutely free to people who can't afford it. Now let's talk about our sisters who are dealing with some form of disability. How does this also contribute to their daily struggles?
It's a very sad scene when you visit some of the disability schools, especially in the North Savelugu. We work there, and we are partnering the disabled Savelugu School for the Deaf, and then the Savelugu disabled schools. It is a difficult one because many of them have psychological impairment, and apart from that physical, teaching them to even use the pad to protect themselves is a challenge. Even understanding their menstruation is a whole process. And a project we are implementing with Netherlands Foreign Ministry, Get Up, Speak Up, we reach out to them, and we realize that it's an area that we need to put more investment, because in the school, when you start menstruating, mostly they don't understand. They know that something is coming out, and I mean, at their level, they just move. And I think that as we talk about girls in general, we should also focus on girls in the schools of disability, or the schools of disability schools, and invest in them, because it takes a long time for the teachers to even let them understand. Those with hearing impairment, those with visual impairment, those with other impairment need unique way of communicating to them to understand that in menstruation, this is the way I have to take care of myself and the rest. And then the second thing is having access to the menstrual hygiene materials, as some I'm talking about, which we've been talking about, that we should focus also, apart from talking about the general schools, we should look at the schools of disability schools and invest more money into them so that they can have access as other schools. Yes, that is what I just want to say, because sexual reproductive health should include sanitary hygiene, menstrual hygiene, and everything, and it should be integrated in all the schools of disability.
Okay. So we have a video of a young girl sharing her experience going through menstruation and also having a disability. We'll take a look at that video and continue the show.
When I started having menstruation, I didn't know how to communicate it to my mother. But later, my mother saw it. I was bleeding. Then she taught me how to keep myself and helped me to acquire some pad.
So there you have it, a young, very brilliant girl saying that she didn't even know how to tell her mom that I'm experiencing this. Where do we even begin from as far as getting parents to prepare that you have a daughter, she's a child, at some point you will have to initiate that conversation?
Yes. If you talk of parents who are educated, it's very easy. But parents who really don't understand, that is where the challenge is. And I you know, it's a whole chain, you know. If my mother didn't tell me when I was a girl and I didn't understand, I give birth to girls, it will continue. And there should be a place that this chain will break. The gap should be really break to ensure that it is done. Again, education of the mother is very important. And so this is where we have to start thinking adult education is very important. Partnership with the media, community radio, because in almost every community, you hear that there is radio. Early morning, someone opens radio. And I think that we should really look at how do we really strengthen partnership with media and then the national NCCE to take out this basic education. I also said that we should integrate family health education into our interventions. I will be happy one day to see where health and faith, church works together, where all the education work jointly with faith, because that is where you can get a lot of people very focused listening to you. And so if we can partner that, and every church you go, when you count women, they are more than men. And so if you want to target women, for me, I believe that the best place to get women, which is very cheap, not inexpensive, should be the churches, the mosque.
Okay.
And apart from that, we can also strengthen partnership with the traditional leaders, queen mothers, who are already role models, custodians of our culture and our tradition. We should strengthen partnership with them and reach out to them. I mean, we should use basic existing structures that we have to reach out to people that cannot travel to Accra, who cannot travel to Kumasi, who don't have TV, who don't have radio, but can hear it from somebody. I think these are the areas that I think innovations that we should start looking at, because they can't use technology. Now everybody can get social media. We are on Facebook, the young people, but so many mothers cannot. And so that's the way we can target women.
Thank you. Safia, let's talk about our schools, because, I mean, the process of changing your pad it's very messy. You know, you need to, first of all, wash your hands before you go down there to change your pad. After you take off the old pad, you need a lot of toilet paper to clean it. You know, advisably, you should even be using wipes, not toilet paper. You go to some of our schools, they don't have running water. They don't have soap. They don't even have tissue paper for the young girls to use when they have to change. How have we failed our young girls by not making these basic essentials available for them to use when it's a time of the month?
I think we failed well enough, because for some schools some schools don't even have facilities for that at all. Some schools don't have it at all. So like maybe a lot of basic schools, which we think they go and go back home. But then the person goes to school. But what if the menses comes when the person was at school? So she can't say that I'll wait till I go home. So definitely she will go home. So it means that day she has lost academic work for that day, which shouldn't be the case. So I think we have to look at it very well and then start putting in place structures that is female friendly as well, not just any structure. It should be female friendly. Maybe even aside just the toilet space, there should be a place, confined place, where you can comfortably change, do whatever you want to do, tie up your pad, and then comfortably dispose it off. It should be eco-friendly as well. It shouldn't just be disposing it off and then later it will cause harm to other people around. So it's a problem. And most senior high school, I know there is a school we went to some time back, even the washrooms they use, they gather at one place to bath and other things. So when you're bathing, it's fine. But what if you want to change? How do you do that? And some girls are so shy of their bodies. So you kind of, it's like the person's confidence, she's not okay, she's not comfortable changing in front of other people. So I think we have to look at the whole engineering thing about how these things are put in place and start looking at it from that level, because the ladies or the girls' human right too is at stake. So if you say human rights, and then a lady is not comfortable when she's menstruating, then a human right has not been well achieved at the end of the day. So I think we have to look at it very well and then give that due privilege to women and girls in various schools and in basic schools at all levels. It shouldn't be a matter of maybe it's a boarding facility, so we have to do it. Even if it is a day school, women menstruate anytime. Sometimes you don't even know when it is coming. Some people are not able to track their period, so it just comes anytime, and then the facility should be there to adequately help her cater for her menstrual health needs and lead her to get the adequate health she needs to safeguard all these stuffs.
Okay, Madam Cecilia, let's talk about the teachers within the schools, right? Especially maybe the female teachers. What role should they play in educating the girl child about menstrual cramps, how long you should have your pad on, when you should change it, you know, the harmful effects of keeping it on for too long? Because I learned about toxic shock syndrome when I was 12 years old, so I knew you can't keep this thing on for too long. You'll get sick. What role should the teachers play in all of this?
Yes, so if you look at the number of hours school children spend, people spend in school, they have a lot of time with the teachers, especially their school health teachers. For girls, it is good for the women, the ladies or lady teachers, to educate them. And it should be done every day. At least, even if it's 20 minutes you talk about menstrual hygiene, they have a role to play. One, I think you know that the way our biological makeup as women has exposed us to a lot of infection if you don't take care of your private parts, and so you are exposed to a lot of infection. So they have to let them know that whatever go to that part can give you infection, so it should be always clean. Two, you can't wear pad the whole day, and so if, like she said, tracking your menses, not all of them can track their menses, but if you can track your menses and you know that, I mean, you must come with extra pad, at least 2 or 3 in your bag, especially if you have a heavy flow, naturally have heavy flow. You can change about 5-6 times. If you are coming to school the whole up to maybe 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you might need to change. So I think the teachers need to really let them know. That is the time they even have to teach you that you can get pregnant if you don't protect yourself, take care of yourself, because looking at the menstrual hygiene, there is a cycle, and there is a certain part of the cycle that if you have sex or you have any sexual intercourse, you end up getting pregnant. And so I think this education by the lady teachers is very important. Our teachers are our role model. My small girl will go to school and come and tell you that this is what the teacher says and this is what I want to do. And so she will not listen to mommy saying anything. And I think that the teachers are our role model. I always admire my lady teacher, the way she dresses, the way she... And I think this is where they have a big role to play. Mentor them because they are women, take good care of them, and teach them what to do, the do's and don'ts, and maintaining menstrual hygiene. And then also the material, using the material. I think I remember when I was in primary school those days, our lady teacher even said, if you don't have money to buy pad, you get any other material, make sure that you wash it, iron it, pack it nicely into a rubber. When your menstrual period comes, you can use it and change it every day. Now, I don't know if those education is going on, and I think they have to really teach them what to do.
Okay. Safia, how do we also get them to know how to handle things like menstrual cramps, that you're going to be in pain and not feel ashamed that they are going through this?
Yeah. So it's all adds up to what Mrs. Cecilia said. This whole thing will be catered for by the teachers, because the students and the girls, they listen to the teachers a lot. So you, being a woman, a teacher, I'm sure will be in her elder state, you should be able to teach the girl. Usually I have very severe cramps, but then because I know how it comes, I can track my period. When it's getting nearer, if I have any plans or agenda, I wouldn't even let it come around that time. Yes, and I'm able to do things that would suppress the pain. Yeah, it's severe, it's painful, but if you know what to do and how to handle it, I use water bottles sometimes. If I track it early, it's able to suppress by 1 or 2 hours. I'm back on my feet, and
so you just
I'm
drink
about
a lot of
fluid too. Yes, and then there is this water bottle that you can put hot water in it, then put it on your abdomen,
and then it helps.
Yes, and it helps. Yes, so these are all basic things, because so if you can't even buy that water bottle from the pharmacy, I'm sure there can be inventions that you can use. Yes,
you can put a bottle.
Yes, put it, and then it will suppress the pain. After some hours, which if you don't do that, maybe the whole day you'll be in pain. You are back on your feet and you are everywhere. So I think the teachers, the female teachers, would have to be motivated to. So for you to take up this thing and add it to your already responsibility that you have already, you should be given some form of motivation so that you'll be able to take it up on yourself, and then be that leader that the student want. They can always come to you, you educate them, do this, do that. Because it's true, some parents from the girls we work with, they never tell their wards anything about menstruation. Boom, you are there one day, it is there.
Which is problematic for all the parents watching. You should be talking to your girl child.
They don't talk to their girls about it. I think I'll have to look at the
please speak to them.
Yes. Most Zongo girls, for instance, that we work with, have shared with me how it is their friends who told them how to even handle their menses. They didn't know anything about it. They were just there one day and then they saw blood all over. What to do, what to do, what to do. You're even shy to talk about it with your mom. You don't want to talk about it with your mom. Your father is not even the right person to go to. So I think in addition to, it shouldn't be only the mothers. Some girls too are very comfortable talking with their fathers. Yes. So the fathers too can take it up. If the mom is not comfortable talking about it, or maybe due to her busy schedule, she wakes up in the morning, by the time the girl will even get up, maybe she's left for the market or something, the dads can take it up. The senior brothers can take it up on themselves and start educating the young girls about
how important is this point? Because some parents are so ashamed of having this conversation with their kids without realizing that if you don't educate that child, someone else will take advantage of her. So please let us know the importance of getting rid of our own selfish shame and having the conversation with our children.
It's very important. Like we said, I just shared an instance where a girl shared with me. I even have the video in one of our encounters. She said it was her uncle who she shared her issue with. Then he realized that, okay, since you are menstruating, it means you are a big girl now. The menstruation period will definitely go. Then now he starts making advances at you. And you can't even buy your sanitary towels. So he provides you with 5 cedis, 6 cedis, 10 cedis here and there. And he was sleeping with her continuously. So we went to their school that day and she shared that story with us. It was very pathetic. For as low as 10 cedis, maybe if you had even shared it with your mom, she could have raised that money for you. But because, I don't know, whether sometimes too it's lack of confidence on the part of the girls. Because some parents, I believe it should be the parents, because you gave birth. Yes, you should initiate it. Yes, maybe she's 10 years, 11 years. You can start asking her once in a while. Have you started doing this? Even pubertal changes is happening. You've seen changes in her, so definitely you should know that you've been there before. So it means my girl is getting there. And when you compare girls who have that bond with their parents, who spoke to them about menstruation, usually they are very confident. They know what they are about. It's like in totality, they are very confident. Their educational level, everything is on. But when you don't have that link, your parents are not talking to you about menstruation, then it goes on. Bigger issues, you can't even go and talk to them about. Your confidence is impaired, and then all other negatives will definitely set in. So I think the parent, Mrs. Cecilia will be able to take it deeper, because she's a parent, about how to handle the issue of getting the parents to initiate.
I think you've done a very good job. But talk to us about the importance of not tackling.
I gave the person 20 cedis to get variety. And so this was what I had. And definitely, the cost of sanitary pad includes the tax. Now, if we are talking of access of sanitary pad, then the government should start thinking of making it very cheap. Cheap, if it will not be free at all, then it should be cheap that everybody can afford. And so if you want to make it cheap, then it should be tax-free. Because the people who are bringing the product to produce it are taxed. And so definitely I think they are institutions for profit making. And so they will add their tax. And so you end up paying more for the sanitary pad. And so as we are advocating for free sanitary pad, the bigger advocacy for now should go to not taxing the sanitary pad, so that
Thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
Madam Cecilia will be showing us how to properly put on the sanitary pads, but I've received some messages from you, so I'll be reading them briefly. I totally agree with partnering with churches and traditional heads. This is coming from Patient Densu. Great discussions. Kudos to the team. This is coming from EFA, and we have some more messages here as well. Sharif Mohammed says, good morning to you, Jifa, and your cherished viewers. And secondly, the Safia Abdallah Rabo for such a wonderful work that she's done so far with her campaign on COVID-19 within the Zongo communities in Ghana. My question to Safia is, how has her organization so far contributed to the education and assistance of the girl child in their menstrual health and hygiene? And finally, the two wonderful women in your studio can partner to effect tremendous change in our society. So I'll be asking them both the work that they are doing and how you at home can support them so that they scale up the work that they are doing. So, Madam Cecilia, please walk us through the process of putting on a sanitary pad.
So this is the ordinary sanitary pad.
Okay.
Before you start using, wash your hand. Your hands must be very clean. And then if you look at the sanitary pad, it has a place for opening. You understand? So you find your way of opening it. Ensure that your hand doesn't touch the inner part that goes under the woman. And so you open this side and make sure that you don't hold the middle part, and then this side. Normally we advise that you put the pant on and
so
lower it.
You would have it on.
And so it has a sheet, you remove it, then you get your pants inner side. If you wear it ready, you hold it by the side, but not by the middle. So you take it out of the sheet. It's important that you remove the back, because this is where is where you stick into the pants. And so make sure that it's well positioned in your pants, so you stick it into it. You know, this is the smaller part. Exactly.
Yes, so you do it like this?
Yes. Okay. So please put it in the middle. And make sure that make sure you don't touch the middle part of the pad that goes under the woman. And then you hold it, make sure it's stuck, because under here has a sticker that can stick perfectly into your pants. And then you open the wing and make sure that you bring the wing back and stick it under. You don't touch the middle, because it can give you. Then you open it nicely.
So you just put
it's
it on like
under, then you put it on. So the flow is there. We have different types of pad. This is just the ordinary one. If you have a heavy flow, normally for women who has given birth, or if you have very heavy flow, you use the long one, that type.
So this is for people with heavy flow.
Heavy flow, but we have different types.
So when you're going out to buy, you should know the type that you're buying
the type
as well.
that you want.
Okay.
And then, and even this general one has different ones that when you go, they give it to you. But always make sure that it's stuck so that it doesn't move as you walk. And normally women like putting on, apart from this, their pants, they also put on stretch.
Yes.
To secure it very well and position it. And then we have the other one, which is the
panty liner.
Panty liner. Normally every girl wants to use it so that it prevents a lot of things flowing into your pants, especially sweat and different things.
You have a little bit of yeast infection or something.
Yeah, to also protect you from getting infection. A lot of, and you must make sure that you have extra in your bag. Every girl has a lot of this in. If you take girl's bag, it's there. And you must change it frequently. Remember, anytime you are changing your sanitary pad, wash your hand with soap and running water to protect yourself.
Thank you very much. And I personally find pads very uncomfortable, so I use tampons, right? And that one is really easy. You just, you know, push it out like this, and then you stick it stick it inside, and then it expands as it's absorbing the blood, so you would know when it's full, and then you take it out, you clean the area, and you stick a new one in, right? So that's another option for you. Lastly, please tell us about your organizations and how we can support the work that you're doing.
Okay, so the Zongo Girls for Education, we work in Zongo communities for girls and women, yes. So due to the impact of COVID-19, we've been doing a lot on COVID-19. So we are looking at a large-scale donation this time around. The one-time donation, and it's like the girls, they will use it a month or two and it's done. So this time around, we are looking at giving them a supply that will last them for like 3 to 4 months.
Nice.
Yes, so we are reaching out to the general public to support us in this outreach, so that we can reach out to a lot of girls, yes, in their communities and then in their schools within the Zongo communities.
Is there a number to contact you on, as well as a Momo number to donate?
Yes, so for the Momo number is 0556 170 283. And then if you want to also call us to make any enquiries too, you can reach us on 0205 2575 38.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Madam Cecilia.
So my organization, Hope for Future Generations, is a community-based but national NGO. It's a Ghanaian NGO actually, and our focus is on women, young people, and children. We really look at empowering young people and women with different interventions. We work across all the 10 regions.
Nice.
We have all the 16 regions, but we have offices in 7 regions strategically positioned to reach out to every part of the country. Our head office is Ajolo. We are near the Ghana Refugee Board. Our focus, we work a lot with persons with disability, and also work with Ghana Education Service, improving girls' situation in school and education, ensure that they are retained. We partner different institutions, especially the media.
Nice. So we're partnering you more.
Exactly.
What's the number to contact you?
So you can get us on 0244 457 231. We do a lot of partnership, and our passion is to change the life of people, disadvantaged people, so that they can also be part of the national issues.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Cecilia Sano. She's the Executive Director of Hope for Future Generations and a board member of the National Population Council Ghana, as well as Safia Abdullah Rabo. She's the Executive Director for Zongo for Girls Education Ghana. Today's World Menstrual Hygiene Day. If you do nothing at all, donate to an organization that's making it easier for girls to have access to sanitary pads. There's absolutely no reason why a girl should not continue her education, should not be able to rise out of poverty, should not be able to achieve her biggest potential because you don't have access to a sanitary pad. Thank you guys so much for staying with us for Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
It's here, the Express Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay, payments simplified.
And people are opening doors for me, or driving for me, or giving me a huge respect. Not for me, for Shani Cooper. Not to Shani Cooper is the respect. The respect is for the state of Israel.
One day I was in Quebec, vacations with my cousin, and someone calls me from Brazil saying, "Do you want to be ambassador in Ghana?" I said, "Yes, I do."
Businesses are evolving with the changing times, and the City Business Festival is doing the same. In the month of June, City Business Festival goes digital. City TV, in collaboration with Absa Bank, will give SMEs the opportunity to reboot their businesses with expert forums, discussion platforms, and interactive Zoom sessions. There will be a lesson for every business. Gain insight into the e-commerce ecosystem, understand the tools and applications that are redefining work, and get a head start into the export market and agribusiness. Revamp your business and work environment this June with City TV. The City Business Festival starts on the 1st of June 2020. The City Business Festival is sponsored by Absa Bank and supported by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. As part of the Women Make Science series, Al Jazeera takes a look into the life and innovations of Marita Chang, a robotist and the founder of RoboGirls.
So I made Jiva, the robot arm for people with limited upper limb mobility, in order to pick things up off the ground, or scratch their eyebrow, or give themselves a drink.
Who has built a tech empire with the sole purpose of creating robots that help people in their everyday lives, especially those with physical disabilities. From an app that sees for blind people to an arm that enables severely paralyzed people to mobilize freely, Marita is changing the world for good with robots. Catch this Al Jazeera documentary, Women Make Science, RoboGirl, on City TV on the 2nd of June 2020 at 6 p.m. City TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. It's time for us to talk health. And, this COVID-19 season has been a very difficult one and challenging on so many different fronts. And one of the issues has been eating disorders as a result of, the stay-at-home orders. And it's affected different people in different ways. I want to talk to a doctor this morning, Dr. Emmanuel Amankra, who is the medical officer at LECMA Hospital. He's also a lead member of the LECMA COVID-19 team. And he's going to help us to break it all down, have a good understanding of some of the challenges that people are experiencing. All right, so Dr. Mankra, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How is the team doing over there at the Lekma Hospital?
So far, so good.
Okay, all right. So we want to talk about eating disorders. So typically, I mean, I know about anorexia, bulimia. What are eating disorders, generally speaking? And help us to understand that.
Okay. So basically, eating disorders are psychological disorders that affect eating habits. So they cause extreme bad eating habits.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, anorexia, bulimia. We have other forms to binge eating, picker, rumination, and avoid and restrictive food eating habits as well.
Okay.
So it's like a wide range, but the common ones are these ones.
Okay.
That are easily seen.
Okay. So can you help us to break it down for us? Help us to understand what each of the names represent in practical working.
Okay. So first of all, the whole idea of this stems from the whole psychological pathology, where there's this fixated thing about weight and then eating.
Okay.
So with anorexia, they think they are too overweight. Meanwhile, the person might actually be underweight, not even normal, maybe underweight. So they don't want to eat. They sometimes throw up when they eat. They hide and throw up and can't eat at all, leading to severe malnourishment and then leading to certain conditions. Now, bulimia and anorexia has similar pathways where they eat and either vomit, purge, or some even do enema, and or excessive exercises so as they can lose the supposed weight, even though they haven't gained any weight. And these people usually, with anorexia, they're usually on the lower side, they are underweight.
Okay.
Bulimia may have a normal weight, but will still want to lose weight when they eat. Now, when it comes to binge eating disorder, just like the name suggests, they eat a lot at a particular time. They can't control it. So they eat. Then after that, they go into some form of guilt, where they try to either vomit it or do excessive exercise to bring out or to work out the excess calories.
Yeah.
Let's have in mind that these people are basically usually normal weight. The weight is usually okay.
I see.
And then picker.
Yeah.
The picker deals with people who have appetites for non-food materials. A typical example is there's this transient or small phase we have in some pregnant women who like the white clay thing.
Okay.
That's picker. Yeah. So some people are. So you see some people when they want to eat non-food things. So this chalk, white clay, some even eat hair.
Oh, wow.
In extreme cases, yes, you see them eating hair, and then this is part. And then we have the rumination type.
Yeah.
With the rumination type, like I don't know if you would remember integrated science in high school.
Yep.
Ruminants. Where they eat, bring it out, chew again, and eat. So these people eat, they voluntarily bring it up.
Oh, are you serious?
Then they chew it.
Wow.
Some spit it out, and some also ingest it again.
Goodness.
Then,
Okay, so Dr. Mankra, right now a lot of people are at home. This is
all psychological disorders.
Okay, so it's obviously it's a psychological problem. How has this process of being at home contributed to, people getting back into that zone of practicing some of these eating disorders? So if someone is anorexic, their minds might be telling them that you are eating more, so starve yourself. If someone binge eats, they might begin to eat more of those things. How has this COVID season contributed to bringing back some of these disorders?
So there's no denying the fact that the whole season is a kind of a stressful condition for everyone. The anxiety, the fear, the panic has exerted psychological stress on everyone. Now with these people, even with someone who had an innate or dormant one, this psychological stress can trigger it. So the stress involved can trigger an episode or can just trigger this condition for almost everyone who has these traits. So it happens and it worsens the condition because you're at home, then the whole stress comes up. So when you're stressed, they start eating. Example with the picker. Some people, once they get anxious, if it's hair, they start eating hair. They start eating the hair. So you realize you'll come to hospital with certain conditions, and then you check and there's hair, a ball of hair inside the gastrointestinal tract somewhere. So the stress involved in this whole period trigger these conditions. And lots of psychological conditions are triggered within this period because of the extreme anxiety and the psychological stress it exerts on people.
So typically, as a doctor, what would you advise our viewers who may be experiencing some of these disorders and challenges to do in order to not, exacerbate the situation?
So if you've already had this condition and been treated before, usually they give you some steps to help deal with anxiety and then stress. But then if this is the first time you're noticing something like this, it's good you talk to a professional. You talk to a medical practitioner or a clinical psychologist who will guide you through the therapy. There's some medication that may be given to help a bit, but all these things, once you talk to a professional, it would help. And one thing that helped, I think, in Western culture, the whole fixated view that the perfect person should be a thin person also fuels this, where on mainstream media, only, in quotes, thin people are seen to be beautiful, beauty pageants, only people with a particular physique and everything. So all these things also play a role. So westernization, in a way, leads to these things. That's why it's more common in the Western world than in the African setting. So once you notice something like this, you talk to a professional.
Okay. Doc, what role do our parents play in all of this? Because there are certain people who would say maybe they were overweight as children and their parents made fun of them. So now as an adult, even if they find themselves in Ghana, they are so obsessed with not gaining weight that they end up becoming, anorexic or bulimic. And people who are also at home, if you notice that a family member is binge eating or is eating something abnormal, how do you handle it with a level of compassion and so that they don't feel like they are being judged? Because all of this is a psychological problem manifesting itself with the way they relate to food.
So it's a very huge problem because our parents or parent figures exert a strong psychological hold on us, whether you like it or not. It's a fact. So when you are being told that the weight is not optimum, you're not okay as you look and everything, these all lead to psychological stresses which can trigger an episode. So one advice would be to encourage, as parents, you encourage your wards or your children or the people you take care of, let them know that however they are, they learn to accept themselves. There's no problem with trying to lose a little weight or something, but then everything is psychological. Even if most people who you talk to, you realize that it's not just about the weight, everything is psychological. So anyone who actually goes through a massive weight loss needs to talk to a professional because psychologically, it's still there. Whatever things you were having doesn't disappear immediately you lose weight. So the psychological aspect really helps. As family, as parents or a family, the support we give, emotional support, and then the just being there for one another helps people to get through these things.
So how do we also handle it as a community when we see someone exhibiting signs of some of these disorders? Because sometimes we can be very judgmental without understanding that they are going through a mental issue.
So society on its own is very judgmental and can be quite brutal when it comes to certain conditions. So most of the time, what we do is education. Once people know that this is a psychological condition, you have to help the person, encourage the person, make sure the person is getting the help they need, and not judge the person. Because it's easy to hear someone tell someone, you're eating too much, oh, you eat too much, oh, you're too slim. The wind will blow you away. You can't, like, oh, you get all these little comments that are made daily. These things all can compound to it. So as a society, we just have to learn to accept people as they are and then encourage people. Basically, it boils down to acceptance.
How common are each of these different conditions in our society? How prevalent is it in our society?
It's not quite common. The picker, we have that's why I said the picker is a transient form that usually happens for a short while during pregnancy. They have this appetite for the white clay thing that people used to eat. Yeah. But most of the times, anorexia and nervosa, that we see a few of them. I think, in our setting, there seems to be, people tend to advise people that weight is equated to looking good, in quotes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So usually with these ones, they are more concerned about losing weight.
Okay.
And then they don't want to increase in weight, and especially nervosa, bulimia, anorexia, bulimia, they see themselves as they are too overweight, whilst meanwhile they are either normal weight or underweight as well. So it's not very common here, even though it's present, but it's not very common. And sometimes people don't even recognize it to come to the hospital. They just will be at home and then think it's something else.
I have a friend just sent me a WhatsApp message as he's watching. He says, don't be surprised by the ruminating condition. I used to be like that. How? Yeah, I know exactly. That's why I said, wow. How common is the ruminating condition?
So the ruminating condition too, all these things are present, but they're not so common because a lot of people won't even come up to say it because they may think it's a weird thing. Some people attribute it to spiritual stuff or some superstition. So these things are even hidden. They don't come out. It's only when it's being talked about that people realize that, okay, so it's just something that therapy can sort out. You can be talked to, you go through therapy, and it could help you. Some medications could also help as well.
Yeah. At what point does one know that what I have now is a disorder, right? Because, so for example, I don't look like somebody who's overweight, okay? I do my BMI, and I'm actually overweight. So I'm like, no, that's not right. I got to deal with that. So I start doing different things, checking my diet, exercising, and so on and so forth. At what point can you now see that you've gone too far and now you got into a disorder?
So everything deals with the moderation. When it gets to the extreme part, where so you are on TV and so you can't eat. Even when you eat, you go to the washroom and throw up because you feel that you are getting extra calories and you are getting too big.
Yeah.
But then you actually do look okay. Now, with these conditions, most psychological conditions, the person doesn't even know they have a condition. It doesn't register, thing happens, and then something comes like, is not going well. Once you realize that you're at the extreme of certain things, like your friend said, ruminating on these things, maybe it started with, it comes up and then he spit, he vomits it out, then progresses to now he chews it, and then maybe chews it and then brings it out again.
Yeah.
And then later he chews it and starts swallowing it back. Then you realize that it's progressed, and this is getting a bit extreme. I know that has explained it a bit.
Yes, it does. Guys, we're speaking to Dr. Emmanuel Ankra. He is a medical officer of LECMA Hospital, as well as the lead team member of the LECMA COVID-19 team. We're speaking about eating disorders. So if it's an issue that you've been experiencing throughout this COVID season, being home, if you've had certain experiences that may have triggered the disorder to come back again, and you have any questions for him, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, you can use the country code +233. If you know a family member or a friend who's dealing with an eating disorder and you want to know how to handle the conversation with them as well, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. Now, Doc, how do we manage the disorder? Because it's something that you don't get rid of overnight, especially people who may not have the financial means to get a therapist to help them through this season. What are some triggers that we'll be able to see that, okay, I'm getting signs that this disorder is coming back, and let me manage it well mentally so that I don't get to a point where I'm throwing up or I'm eating so much to deal with whatever stress and anxiety that I'm going through.
Okay, so to really manage this condition, you definitely need to talk to a professional to go through the therapy. Now, on your own, you try to avoid certain stress factors. You try to avoid certain emotional stress factors. And then also self-esteem. Because everything also boils down, it goes down there. Because once your self-esteem is down, it leads to questioning yourself, questioning your abilities, your physical state, and how you are. Is it because you look this way? Are you looking normal? Then it starts building up on all these doubts about yourself. So self-esteem plays a role, but then for correct treatment or management, you need to see a therapist, a clinical psychologist, who will take you through. Like you said, it's not an overnight thing. It takes time. It's a long period. It takes time. You may relapse, but still, you're encouraged. You continue, keep fighting. Then eventually, you get to a point where you have some exercises that you do to block these stress factors, which may trigger an episode.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Amankra. We have a couple of messages here. One is from Emissary Morris and says, insightful information there. Thanks, Dr. Amankra. And then I think one of your colleagues, Effie Kisi, is giving you fans and says, Dr. Amansky.
She's supposed to be on the watch.
Well, thank you very much for having this conversation with us. It's been very insightful and educating. For those of you who have been watching, I hope that you've picked up some good information, some good insights to bring your stress down and all of that. Thank you to Dr. Amankra, who has been with us. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, but as we do that, take a look at our entertainment highlights.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina. Rapper Medical has disclosed that the fainting prank Fela McAfee pulled on him at their marriage ceremony turned him on. Prior to tying the knot, the couple managed to get themselves on social media following a series of controversies. On their traditional marriage day, Fela fell to the ground while on the dance floor. From the video shared on social media, she was seen to have been rushed to a vehicle in an attempt to convey her to the hospital, but later came back to life. She returned to the gathering and told the people gathered that what happened was a prank, and this is no new thing to her husband. Speaking to Hits FM, Medical said, "I was scared because I'd never seen her like that before, so I was shocked," adding that he had told her not to repeat that. Musician Ishan has debunked claims that she signed a management contract with her former manager. Per reports, the manager, Steven Mensah, is going around peddling information that he signed the artist to a 5-year contract, which she walked out of after 3 years. However, the singer, in an interview with Zion Felix on the Uncut show, has dared him to come out with evidence of the said contract she signed. According to her, she has decided to make her side of the issue known to the public after considering that silence is not golden anymore. Enough is enough, she told Zion Felix.
No, name me a 5-year contract.
And then Steven Mensah is her former manager.
Yes.
For people who don't know.
To outsiders, he was my manager, but I'm getting there. Enti waba out waba ka say near 5-year contract me emu 3 and 2 years no me opt out to say me nye bio. I sit here on Zion Felix's Medium. Now me come obi to say that is a palpable lie. Now say if there was a contract you sign even for a second, for a minute, for an hour, for a day, for a week, for a month, for a year. Talk less of 5 years, sir. I dare him to bring that contract. Number no be who say contract na mene then Ishon ye signing no any. I dare him to bring that contract up. There was no contract of any kind, any also
no
whatsoever,
verbal.
no verbal, it wasn't no verbal, no paper, nor of conduct.
Actress Yvonne Nelson has asked colleague celebrities to stop lying about their success stories. Taking to Twitter, Yvonne Nelson advised that people include all their ugly stories behind their successes if they intend to inspire others. She noted that it should not be made to look as easy as if they did magic. If you want to inspire with your success story, say it all, the backstory, the craziness. Don't make it look as easy when it wasn't. Don't sugarcoat it. Stop lying to people. It's not magic, she tweeted. And that's all for entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwame.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. In a couple of minutes, we'll be crossing over to the Ministry of Information to get some updates on the case counts.
Yes. Well, we know what the cases are now. What I'm interested in is more of the analysis of where it is that we find ourselves, why the numbers are what they are, and where we're going with this, you know, because the idea of the management